Welcome to another week of football action, live from Las Vegas. I'm joined again by my co-host Sam Evans. Sam, how have you been?
I'm good. Had soccer earlier today.
You're back in training?
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. Who you going to be playing for, hopefully?
Manchester United one day.
Well, you get in the team. They're looking for players right now, I promise you.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, we'll get on to that subject. So, Sam, we don't have a name yet for our show, but we're enjoying ourselves. It's a lot better than sending a boring old email to our predictions league. And we're back in action. What did you think about the first week?
Are you talking about a United game?
No, I'm talking about just in general. There was a lot of good games. We had 12.
Oh yeah, there was a ton of good game. I was happy to wake up and see Liverpool drop point, but I know it was early in the season.
Yeah.
And then watching United, it was just disappointing.
Yeah. Well, spare a thought for Jurgen. I mean, it was a dry pitch.
That's what he said. I said,
well, he has a lot of hardships he goes through with fixture congestion as well. But it was a shock result. Fulham came out of the gates there with a couple of goals for Mitrovic. Yeah. And United were terrible. It was just a continuation of last year.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be sick about that.
Yeah.
Well, looking quickly at the games we predicted, any idea what was the number one most predicted game? Most points scored on it?
I would think City.
It wasn't City. City was pretty high, but no one got a correct score on City. 2-0 at West Ham. That was a great performance. West Ham, very disappointing. Newcastle, 2-0 against Nottingham Forest. Correct score by like 8 people, and 49 points were scored on that. Do you know the one that was the least scored on?
Liverpool.
Nobody got anything on Fulham versus Liverpool. Can you believe that? But they didn't know about the dry pitch. So that would have changed it if we'd known about the dry pitch. But the second was Man U. Only 1 point scored on that. And what does that mean if only one person scores?
Yep. That means they get double.
They get double. You know who got double? Take a guess.
Saleo.
No, your best friend. Aaron Hodgkiss gets the 1 point, which doubles. And he had a pretty good week, actually. We'll have a quick look at the table later in the show. It's also going to be emailed tomorrow. But I want to kind of move on. Anything else you want to say about last weekend? Anything else that caught your eye?
No, I just think City is just going to win it. They look very good. They're opening game. And I don't think anybody can stop them.
Yeah, I had a terrible week and made a lot of bad calls. And I went on somebody else's podcast to talk about and we actually agreed with the guests. We had a lot of things we agreed. We thought City would be slow. We thought Liverpool will be the favourites this year. And it's one game.
It's one game, yeah.
But City looked very, very good. And Haaland didn't take 10 seconds to get going.
It's just outstanding.
Yeah, so there we go. Well, for the first time this season, we got a special guest joining us. I'm very excited about this. He's also new to the Predictions League. It's James. I'm going to bring him in. Actually met this amazing guy. Found out he came to work at Samaritan's Purse, where I work. And he joined our team. And whenever anyone joins our organization, they get to share a little bit about what they're going to be doing. And I heard his accent. And I was like, this is an English guy. And so I talked to a fellow worker and I said, who's this guy who started? And he told me all about him. He said, oh, he loves football. I said, really? Who's his team? And he told me, Watford. And we were embroiled in a relegation struggle with them. Ends up, I emailed him, we got connected, and then he came on out to California on a work trip, and we got to eat together, get to know each other a little bit. And it was 2 days before the big relegation clash that was going on. I think it was in April. And he gave me a lot of confidence that we would win that game because I was not confident about anything last season. But here he is, and I believe he's out east, even though he lives in Denver, Colorado. Welcome to the show, James.
Andy, thanks so much for having me in Asheville, North Carolina.
It's one of the most beautiful places in the world.
It is absolutely incredible. Yep, I'm out here for a conference, and it's beautiful, very green, lush, and having a great time. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you are our first guest of the season, James. I was so excited to make this happen, and I must admit, part of my timing was thinking about this huge game on Friday night, which is not even going to be in our predictions. But obviously, there's a lot of Burnley supporters in our league, and we like to make a lot of noise about it. And I just thought it'd be great to hear a little bit of your perspective on the season so far, what you're expecting, and to say to you, welcome to the league.
back into the championship right now for both of us. You know, I told you, Andy, when I was with you a couple of years ago, I was back in the UK and I was planning to go see Watford Everton, and that got moved. So I went to Turf Moor and got a ticket for Burnley, sat in the home end and had a brilliant time. And you beat Brighton with the last kick of the game almost, or the last head of the game. So I had a whole weekend in Burnley and loved it. So love Sean Dyche. I think we're Dyche fans, right? I know you're doing great right now, but yeah, so lots of connection there. And I think, I don't know, you know, it's too early. We've got players that I know will move on. I think we'll see Dennis and Sarr go. You guys obviously have lost Cornet already. So I'm not hanging my hopes on anything until after that deadline.
That's fair. Yeah, we've done a bit more business than you already. We'll talk a little bit about that. But first question I wanted to ask you, Sam, do you want to?
Yeah, I said I can. My first question is, how and why are you a Watford fan?
Right. I mean, who becomes a Watford fan? But it's one of those things, probably like you, Watford chose me. My grandparents grew up in Watford. My brother was born 3 o'clock on a Saturday right next to the Vic in Watford General. My first game was when I was 6 years old, on the terraces, at home against Mansfield. Nothing spectacular, right? And I've been a Watford fan ever since the Luther Blissett days, the Ross Jenkins Part 1 days, all the way through John Barnes. My life, yeah, it's just who we are as a family. We are Watford fans. Through thick and thin.
Yeah, great. It's a great club. I think a lot of similar things to Burnley, but also, one thing you've been through a lot is that kind of yo-yo phenomenon. And I wonder what you think of the latest appointment to the manager's seat there. How are you feeling about him? And just generally, how do you think the season's going to go?
You know, I think the Pozzos came in. I know the model. A lot of people don't understand it. But as a Watford fan, they've actually brought a lot of clarity underneath. We've got new training facilities. We've got a great connection in the community. And so there is stability where a lot of other clubs don't see it, or a lot of other fans that we have. Obviously, I love the appointment of Rob Edwards personally. I think we went for a young British manager, very different to what we had last year. I think if he's given time to build, I think if he's given time over the next couple of years to actually put his ideas down, and we put trust in him as a club, I think we'll do very well. My doubts are with the Italian model, if the owners will give him the time, or if they will flinch too early. You know, you guys know the championship as well. I think we'll experience some results that won't go his way in the first couple of months. But I like him. I think he's bringing some stability, and I think he's got some great ideas. And from what I've seen so far, he's not just letting the high-priced players just do what they want to do. There's a real club atmosphere that's come back to Watford, honestly, after about 3 or 4 years, and that's really refreshing. But I don't think a lot of other people see that.
Well, it's that stage of the season where it's kind of hard, isn't it? Some of the teams that were fancied are, it's only 2 games, and then you've got always unexpected teams. I noticed a lot of people were tipping you, tipping us, tipping Norwich to go right back up. Yep. Do you feel like you can do it? Go back up?
I feel like we can. I mean, I think we made a pretty good signing today in Hamza Chowdhury.
Yeah,
I think he'll bring some stability to. Yeah, I mean, for us, I think if we get Imran Louza back in the midfield and go with those two, with potentially going back to a 4 in defence, and if we can hold on, I mean, you saw that goal from Sarr the other day.
Incredible.
He scores incredible goal. Him and Dennis and Pedro, they can turn it on to where I mean, the championship is all about if you can score goals. The quality of striker on the other side is not nearly as good. West Brom should have killed us the other day. Yeah. They couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. So I think we have a shot. I would be disappointed if we weren't in the top 6, but I would be willing as a fan to say, hey, if we don't get up this coming year, but we got next year, or if we're competitive. I mean, Andy, we have only spent 10 years total in the Premier League in all the history. Yeah. So I don't expect it as a Watford fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a good attitude. I mean, yeah.
I would imagine as a Burnley fan, as fans, there's probably a little bit more expectation with your new manager to get up this year.
Possibly, I think, yeah. I think people are going to give him time. Obviously, we've made signings. We've let a lot of people out. But what people saw on the pitch in the first game, I mean, I honestly thought had too much cold medicine or something. I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was like 10 minutes of almost total ball control. We've never seen that in the last decade, and it's no slight on Deitch, who will always be a hero to us. But it was just unbelievable. And they tried that. Obviously, that's going to be the season. I think we're going to try that every time. Against Luton, they had a way of dealing with that. And so, it's like the highs and lows of being a fan, isn't it? You feel like you can beat anyone, and then the next week you realize this championship's really, really tough.
You throw in Middlesbrough, Sheffield United. I mean, these are two teams that I think will perform well this year. You've got Luton that might be another, well, I wouldn't say surprise package. I'm hearing Coventry will be good this year. Tough to beat Millwall. You could see, I mean, look at Forest last year. Bottom three for half the season? Then they make it to the Premier League.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And, a few people I was listening to were tipping Swansea as well. And look what happened to them last week. I mean, they got beat by this other team that are from Lancashire. I've forgotten what they're called. But they lost 3-0 at home. I mean, it's definitely going to be an interesting season. I'm pretty much glued to it like usual. Are you?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not missing a match. If I can, I'm there. I'm watching the highlights. I'm up early on the weekends. For us, it's ESPN, obviously, catching the championship games. I'm loving it all. That's honestly, I'm watching as much as I possibly can. Burnley, that first game, the highlights of Burnley, I think you play well. I think you've got company, great manager. And I know you've lost some players, but you'll be up there, right? I'm expecting Burnley to be promoted, whether it's through the playoffs or top two. I don't rate Norwich. I don't think they'll go up this year. So I think you guys have got a great shot.
Yeah. Well, tons of people tipping Norwich, and I know that it's so far to go. We're gonna go through many ups and downs, I think, as is expected. But what are you going to watch the game on Friday, and how do you feel like that game's going to play out?
So I'm flying back in literally about 12. So I'm going to get home, turn the TV on, and be glued to it. We're at home. We hadn't won at home since Man United in November. So that we needed that monkey off our back. And I think it will be close. I think we need to make some changes to our format. I think getting rid of our wing backs. We've got a guy called Ken Sema, who's not a defender. I hope, you'll figure it out. But if you go after him, he's in that position. You will run down that side, right side all day long. So I think if we make some changes, and I think if we can get our forwards going, and all three of them play well together, I think we can beat you 2-1. But I think it's going to be wild. I think it's going to be crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw. I would hate to lose to Burnley at home, but it's a possibility. And again, would you be happy with the point?
Yeah, I would. I'd take a point totally. I think that would be a good keeping things going. If we can make a good performance and get a point, I'll be very happy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw. I mean, if these are two top draw championship teams, it's going to be fine margins.
Yeah, I'd settle for a point.
Yeah.
Well, seeing it went so well, the plan last year, James, I think you and I should meet tomorrow night and have dinner over Zoom. That seemed to work out well before the last time we played.
No, I'm not doing that again. I'll talk to you after the game this time, Andy. Yeah, that was too much, man. No, I thought, I had a feeling, I thought you'd do it. Actually, I thought you were going to make it out too. There was that time. You had a great run. I told you I thought you beat us. You did beat us. Our mentality was down. I think we've had a switch of mentality, new coach, new players. So I think we'll give you a little bit more of hopefully a little bit more of a game. A little bit, we'll be on it this time, which we weren't.
I have one question. This is like, I don't know, but I was going to ask you, do you know any Watford song?
Watford, I haven't been to the Vic in a while. And there are some songs that a lot of the lyrics probably won't repeat. And then the other ones, they're boring, man. Watford fans, I don't know. You guys are so much better at singing when I went to Burnley. So nothing great apart from Watford and 3 claps, right? So that's about it. That's what we did on the terraces when I was growing up. It's terrible.
Did you get a chance to look over this weekend's games?
I did, yeah.
What, anything catch your eye? Obviously, we never put the Friday game into the prediction, so it's I don't want you to give any predictions and give secrets away. That's why we could talk about Watford and Burnley. But any thoughts on the games this weekend? Does anything stand out to you?
I think the Villa game, Villa at home, is going to be really intriguing. Leicester Villa. I don't think
Villa Everton
will be tipped. Villa Everton.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Don't have the list in front of me. Villa Everton. Obviously, both lost their first games. I think we're going to expect so much more from Villa with Steven Gerrard. I think they almost have to win. And the other side of it, what happens if Everton lose? Frankie Lampard, 2 games in, no points on the board. I think that will be really intriguing. So I'm looking, total Premier League fan, not looking at the Man Uniteds. I'm really intrigued to see what happens when those 2 very famous England midfielders meet in that game.
Oh, yeah.
And then keeping an eye on Chelsea.
You got any shocks that you see this weekend?
As I went through, I saw some draws, but I don't see any real big shocks. As a Watford fan, we don't have Luton, obviously our rivals. I looked at the Bournemouth game. No way they're winning. I just hope they get beat by 10. So outside of that, I saw Wolves draw. And so I don't know. I think it's going to pretty much deform. I think the top teams are going to win. Very intrigued to see how Man United do. I think they could draw. But we'll see. Well,
James, this has been brilliant to connect with you, and good luck for the season. I'm sure we'll keep in touch and talk some more. All the best, and enjoy the rest of your.
Thank you, guys.
And enjoy the rest of your time in the woods. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, and let's talk after Friday night.
Yeah, we'll talk Friday for sure. All right.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
See ya. Yeah, Sam. I think. Fair point, that Villa-Everton game is a big one early in the season. Kind of feels like a 6-pointer already.
It does.
There's some other ones. I think there'll be some surprises, but you could see Arsenal beating Leicester, City at home, the United game at Brentford. What are you feeling about that?
I don't know. I said it last week. I said we should win against Brentford, and then we lost.
Yeah.
So,
Brighton is a better team.
Brighton is a better team, but I don't know. I feel like, as I'm saying again, I feel like we can get a win. But I don't know. Brentford, they have Tony. Yeah, he's an outstanding player. So
somebody like Man U should be going in for, in my opinion.
Let's hope we win.
I think those are the 2 games. I'm already calling them 6-pointers. Chelsea-Tottenham will be a huge game on Sunday. Both those teams, I think, with an outside shot. Do you like Tottenham? What you saw from them?
Yeah, I think they play really well, especially Heung-min Son. He's just a really good player.
But him and Kane didn't score, and they still win 4-1.
They still won 4-1.
Yeah, that's the story. That's about the only thing. I only got 2 points last week. Let's just talk really briefly about how things are going so far in the league. It's only 1 week in, but we've got a table going out tomorrow with this video. And you'll see it then, but I can tell you that a team based on Abbey Road is top with 17 points already. A team based in Denver, Colorado, where our guest was from, but not that guest, another one by the name of Gene. He's in second with 15, and he's a bit of a dark horse this year because I've noticed each year he's improving like the American players seem to do.
Yeah.
So there's a chance there for him. And then the one bonus point was for Aaron, he's on about 12. You scored 12. I don't want to talk about what I scored, but I wasn't the worst in the league, but I had a diabolical start to the season.
Yeah, that's like United.
Yeah, a lot like United. Well, I've been getting questions, when are the flags coming back? We'll try to get those flags put into the table in the next couple of weeks. I get questions about, do we have all the history of all the tables somewhere? I'm trying to do a better job of keeping the stats. And next week, we're going to hopefully have a special guest with an Everton theme. I didn't want to put him on the same night as a Watford fan because there's a little bit of animosity there. But that's hopefully for next week. So it'll be a great show. Don't miss it. So please like and subscribe our channel. And we'll be back with you again soon. Have a great weekend.
Great weekend. Go United.
Watford have the lead.